Ew, what stinks in here? The Litterbox is the part of the show where I go through the stupid news headlines and I only bring you back the best stuff because I like you that much. You don't have to read any stupid news because I'll do it all for you. And I want to get started in Delray Beach, Florida, where a woman has been rescued after being missing for 2 weeks. She was reported missing March 3rd, but it wasn't until yesterday morning that somebody walking by a storm drain heard cries for help. They look down there and they see this lady who's covered in like dirt and gross water and leaves, and she's so weak she can't even stand. She's barely able to ask for help. So they dispatched the fire department and the rescue team. Look at this. Oh my gosh. This is a kind of a graphic picture, but they do mostly have everything hidden with towels and blurred out. This woman somehow survived. She Ninja Turtled. She was able to survive for 2 weeks in a storm drain. I'm assuming no food, no clean water, because you know everything washes down there. It is an absolute miracle that she survived. Law enforcement believes that she probably got into the storm drain somewhere else and ended up crawling there or making her way there somehow after 2 weeks. But it's not exactly clear as to what happened. There's not a lot known about the gal in question. I'm gonna guess by those knees, those legs, that she is an older lady, but who knows? Those could just be bruises from banging around a storm drain for 2 weeks. I can't believe it. It is just the most shocking, horrifying thing, you poor lady. Oh, I feel so bad for her. I hope she's doing okay. Moving on now, a man named Jason Karp found what he believes are shrimp tails in a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Here's the picture. Now those look like cinnamon toasty shrimp tails, right? Some scrimps. I have a hard time saying shrimp because ever since Eleanor on The Good Place started saying scrampies, I can't stop calling shrimp scrimps. So I'll probably call them scrimps the rest of the time. But look, those are definitely somehow scrimp tails made their way from wherever they're processed, probably in the same plant, all the way over to the cinnamon toast line, got a nice cinnamon toast coating, and got thrown in. So Jensen took it to Twitter to talk about this. Jensen, by the way, is pretty famous. He's an author. You know that because he still uses Twitter. They're the only people. Them, comedians, news agencies, and brands. The only ones using Twitter anymore. But he shows these pictures on Twitter, and he gets a response from the Cinnamon Toast Crunch company. They say, quote, "After further investigation with our team that closely examined the image, it appears to be an accumulation of cinnamon sugar that can sometimes occur when ingredients are not thoroughly blended. We assure you there's no possibility of cross-contamination with shrimp." Well, how do you explain the fact that there are definitely shrimp tails? That's not just like a chunky piece of cinnamon sugar that didn't get broken down. That's definitely a shrimp tail. And you know what? Jensen thought so as well because he posted back. Okay, well, after further investigation with my eyes, these are cinnamon-coated shrimp tails, scrimp tails, you weirdos. I wasn't all that mad until you're what, trying to gaslight me? So ever since he posted this, and the response that he posted, because it was so funny, went viral, he has had DNA labs from across the country. There's one in New Jersey that is offering to DNA test the tails to find out if they're actually shrimp tails or not. There's also, I think it's the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles, is offering to do some DNA testing. So he's gonna get DNA tested, and we're gonna get to the bottom of whether or not that's a shrimp butt in his Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Listen, sometimes you just want Cinnamon Toast Crunch and you don't want there to be any butts involved. That's it. Just me and my Cinnamon Toast Crunch in cartoons. Thank you so much. Isn't that so terrifying? So awful. Jensen, by the way, he's also famous. I forgot to mention this. He's married to none other than Topanga herself, Danielle Fishel, Topanga from Boy Meets World. She's so great. She used to host this show called The Dish that I loved back in the day. It was a lot like Joel McHale's The Soup. I mean, there are different kinds of standing in front of the green screen looking at things. I mean, that's kind of what I do here. But Danielle Fishel's was always very, very good. And finally, such exciting news. I am a Ryan Murphy junkie. I have a love-hate relationship because I've noticed that Ryan Murphy has a hard time actually wrapping his shows up. I'm dissatisfied with a lot of the Ryan Murphy endings, but the shows are always fantastic. He's coming out with a new limited Netflix series about Jeffrey Dahmer. I have a hard time with ones like Jeffrey Dahmer, or John Wayne Gacy. Like those ones where they're like real torture-y, where they torture people. It's not just like they're serial killers. The torture ones I am really uncomfortable with. They make me so sick to my stomach. And I wouldn't normally watch anything Jeffrey Dahmer, but it's Ryan Murphy and he's probably gonna kill it. Here's the, I'll read you. The story is called Monster, the Jeffrey Story. And the synopsis is this. Monster chronicles the story of one of America's most notorious serial killers, largely told from the point of view of Dahmer's victims. And it dives deeply into the police apathy that allowed Wisconsin native to go on a multi-year killing spree. Oh, it's gonna be probably so freaking good. And if it's told from the victims' perspectives, I want to see that, because I don't know that that's one that we see very often. Ugh! Okay. So there's all that, but I'll tell you what the real tipping point is. They finally announced who's going to be playing Jeffrey Dahmer in this thing, and it is none other than Evan Peters. American Horror Story darling, Evan Peters. Oh, he's going to be such a good Dahmer! Ugh! Fine, I'll watch it, but Ryan Murphy, if you ruin this one too, or if it is too gross, it better not be too gross. Because these are real stories. These are real people. And I'm all about true crime. I'm all about telling the story, even dramatizing it. I don't love it, but I get it. But if it gets too gross and too graphic, remember, there are still people alive who probably knew these boys that Dahmer killed. Don't make it disgusting, because then I'm just not going to be on board with it. And I'll tweet about it. I'll tweet about it. I'll have someone DNA test something. I don't know what it is. But that'll be it for you, Ryan Murphy.